Hey guys, all right, so I'm doing my portable generator inverter tune-ups, oil changes, and fixing them. This one I had just fixed. It wasn't starting, and then it wasn't going off idle. The electronic control mechanism was put together wrong by the previous owner. So I got that running now. As you heard, it purrs like a kitten. The auto throttle goes up and down no problem on demand. And I just finished doing an oil change on those and fixing. I had a no start. One of those was a no start issue. So I repaired that. So those two are all set, ready to go for the season. This one here, engine wise, only thing I gotta do is change the oil. So this is a Honda, what is it? An EU2200i, and I'm going to change the oil on this one. The Honda is so much easier to work on than those. This is 2200 watts. Those are each 2000 watts. They have the pros and cons of each one. This one, obviously, you can't stack. That one's made to stack. And then you could run those in parallel with a device. I don't know what it's called. I'm not an electrician. But it connects 110 volts, 120 volts from the top one, 120 volts from the bottom one. It makes a 240 outlet. So you're running a large camper or something like that. This one, you could do that also, but you'd have to have them on the ground and you'd have to buy the other piece. But the most important thing about the two pros of the Honda, the portability, it is a one-hander. Those you can carry one hand, but they're big square. They're almost twice the size. Weight-wise, I think this is maybe a little bit lighter. So it's a little bit easier. It's a lot easier to carry just because it's only this skinny. Those are bulky. That's the only problem with those. And then the other main thing I like about the Honda is, now I'm just learning about this Honda. I literally just bought it last year and threw it in the shed, and the guy said it was a no start, and he had no luck with it. I ended up figuring it out. So I really haven't used it on a job yet, but I've seen them. And I've had to use other ones from other contractors in a campground and stuff like that. So the biggest benefit of this one is the maintenance ability. On those are Champion, made by Champion. Those, I can't even get the carburetor off unless I dismantle all the plastic. Well, the Honda, one screw, and everything is right there. Yes, it looks a lot more confined and jammed in there because it is. But this one, take these two nuts off, take the air box off. This carburetor comes out right here, super easily accessible. That one, not so much. The engine's actually in different sideways, or the carburetor's facing sideways. So you got to take the carburetor out this way, but you can't because the gas tank is in the way. So it hits the gas tank. So you got to take gas, from what I could tell, you'd have to take the whole gas tank apart and all the plastic off. So that one, I cleaned the carburetor. I just dropped the bowl in place, and then I changed the oil and got it running and fixed the no start issue. This one runs no problem. I'm gonna do two things to this one. When you're not using these generators, it's not good to have fuel sitting in them. So what they have is they have a little pipe right here and a screw right here. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you. And you loosen this screw and it drains your gas out of your carburetor. Make sure your valve is in your off position, and then it drains it right here. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the oil. I haven't changed the oil in this. I did check it. It looks very, very new. This inside here was really clean. It was another issue that the no start was. So I think the oil is good, but since I just bought it, it's now mine. I want to make sure the oil that I use is in here. So let me zoom you in. I'll drain the carburetor first, then we're just going to change the oil. Super easy to drain the gas. You don't even have to take this out. I'm just taking this out so I can watch it. I don't want the gas all over my counter here. There's a screw on the bottom of the carburetor bowl right there. It's a flathead. Unscrew that, and out comes your gas. Just make sure this is off. That's your fuel, that physical fuel valve right there. So let the fuel drain out. There it goes. The bowl should be empty because that's at the lowest point in the bowl. Don't forget to tighten it up. Take this, stick it back in the port right there. So there's another vent tube right here, and this is another drain also that drains out the bottom. You could check out the other video to see where those go and how those go. All right, fuel's drained out of the carburetor. I'm happy with that. Let me dump this. It's a good way to clean your magnetic trace. Keeps them nice and shiny. And as for oil, it takes 1030. You can use synthetic, it said. So let's open this up. And the oil's right there. And what I use is I use a little syringe. Oh, and the amount of oil that it takes is 440.44 milliliters or 440 milliliters. So I made a mark right there. It's basically so long as you see it right there, and as long as it's on your dipstick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my little syringe. I'm gonna slide it in there, and then I'm gonna extract all the oil from in there. One thing you wanna make sure is this is clean. You don't have any dirt on this. So it's supposed to have 400, that much oil in it. So I didn't get, you're not gonna get it all. I'm gonna try to get the air bubble out of that line there. See if I get some of this air out of here. I wanna measure how much we took out without shooting it all over my garage. There we go. So here's the fill line, and you see I'm about 1.5 inches low. So there's still obviously some residual in there. So let me dump this. Go back for more. And the paperwork says you can use full synthetic. So I'm using O'Reilly 1030 full synthetic. And here's my line. So I'm probably gonna put a little bit less in because I know I didn't get it all out. And plus I got that big air bubble in there. There's my line, and then I got the air bubble plus the oil here. So just slowly push it in. And you can see the oil is right there. And that's it. I'll show you where the oil level is closer. Basically, all I'm looking for is when the machine is sitting flat and level, you can see the oil. It's right there. So that's all you see. Even if I tip the machine, it just starts coming out right there. So A, yeah, I measured it. B, if you're ever on a job site and you want to check, just put the machine, make sure the machine's flat and level. And this is like same with any Honda any small engines, basically. This is how they have it. And just screw the cap back on. Snug, not too tight, not too loose, but make sure it's snug. Clean it up. So another thing that I've been doing on a lot of my equipment is it takes time to try to look up what oil, what capacity, when you change the oil. When you're doing it all the time, it becomes a pain in the butt. So what I've been doing is on the inside covers, if I can get a clean spot, I'm using an oily rag. If I can get a clean spot, I actually put an oil change sticker on the inside with the date, but then with a paint pen, I actually write the oil and the quantity. So this would be 10W30 and 400 milliliters is what I'm gonna put on there. You get a paper towel to wipe that off because this had oil all over it. So I use a paint pen because it's less likely to wear off. So we're 10W30. And it's 400 milliliters. As long as I know what it says, that's the important part. And then just take one of these oil change stickers and write the date on it. Give the Sharpie a little bit of time to dry. There we go. So I got the date and the oil type and the quantity. So next time I won't have to look it up. That's it. Quick and simple. Shut this off. Where's the paper? That's it. So I'm going to end this video here, guys. Oil change on the Honda, super easy. Make sure and how to drain the gas when you're not using it. You can check out I have one other video that should be out there about the carburetor on this with electronic fuel, troubleshooting the no start, and then the no high idle on this. So this is ready for emergency use or job site use. I got those two ready for emergency use, job site use, or camping use. I got a couple of videos of my log splitter from the excavator working. I got a hydraulic leak on that. I got to fix. That's coming up probably tomorrow. I'm going to do that. Check out some of the videos on the Corvette we have. We have, I think, 20 plus videos already on the 1984 Corvette. It was a barn find. It was literally a barn find or field find. And that's up and running and going good. So check out some of the other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you leave any comments, please keep the language kid-friendly. I don't want any profanity on there. I don't want to offend any of the kids out there, corrupt their minds. All right, see you in the next one, guys, and stay safe.